there are certain unified motivations behind the activities of all men, regardless your kind of person, regardless your level of exposure, regardless your faith practice, your orientation, and so on and so forth. And there are 6 of them. These are the core motivations behind any activity you see on earth. Now, those who are attempting to get these psychological motivations do not know that this is what motivates them. Is the reason you desire to have a family, a car, a job, promotion, literally everything. And I'm going to run the list for you. Are you ready? Number 1. The first motivation behind all human behavior is called the need for security. Please write that down. The need for security. Security by every definition. Financial security, security as we know physically, and so on and so forth. There is such an obsession in men for security. They are not aware as to the extent of their desire for security by any and every definition. It's the reason why people join occult groups. It's the reason why your car is locked outside right now in spite of the fact that you are in church. It's the reason why your bag is locked right now in spite of the fact that you are looking at me. There's light on you and that bag, and yet you will not take a chance. It's called security. Are we together? Number 2, the second motivation behind human behavior is called the need for variety or newness. The need for variety or newness is the reason why breaking news sells. Anything that is new. Can you imagine that people fill up a stadium, for instance, and pay, I don't know how much they pay, over something that will be recorded, and just 5 hours later it will be free online for anyone? So why did you have to be there to pay? There is an obsession in men for newness and variety. Is the reason why you take protein but you don't want to see it the same way. Are we together? You can turn it into any other thing, but just make sure your mind is tricked into believing you are taking something else. Praise the name of the Lord. The need for newness or variety. Are we learning already? The third motivation behind all human behavior is called the need for love and acceptance. In fact, hold on to that, the need for significance. Let's take it sequentially. So the first, security. The second, variety or newness. The third, this is a master class for you free of charge. It's the name of the Lord. Is someone learning? The need for significance. Look up, please. Why do you frown when I call you Joshua Selman instead of man of God, pastor or apostle Joshua Selman? What did the title add to you? The need for significance. There's such an obsession for significance. A whole industry has been built around this need for significance. Significance. Hallelujah. MCs receive hundreds of thousands, millions for mastering the art of making people feel significant. Ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, want to introduce ABC XYZ, and you find the person trying to be humble, trying to contain himself. Significance. Is someone learning already? Number 4, the fourth need, psychological need of all men, and it's important what you are learning, because it will connect to the subject of purpose and fulfillment. The fourth motivation behind all human behavior is the need for love and acceptance. You pay attention to that. It's a very serious one. The worst thing that can happen to any human being from a psychological standpoint is rejection. That word rejection, it can wreck a person more than something physical. It's an emotional wound that can last for a lifetime. Love and acceptance. Number 5, the fifth motivation behind human desires, activities and needs is the need for growth. The need for growth. That's why you celebrate graduations. That's why you celebrate promotions. That's why you celebrate intellectual milestones, because it gives you and those who care to know a perception that you are growing. Hallelujah. Unfortunately, the only kind of growth that is natural is biological growth. Every other kind of growth is structurally engineered. If you want to grow intellectually, it's something that is going to be a harvest of seeds, intellectual seeds that you sow. And the sixth, for sake of time, the sixth and the final motivation behind all human needs is the need or the desire for impact and contribution. Impact and contribution. It's almost an unwritten rule that when you succeed to a measure, immediately society believes it, and they put pressure on you to create a structure around your life to give back to society, whether an NGO, a foundation, whatever you call it. They even reward you. Am I right on that? They give grants and all kinds of things. So a quick recap: the 6 motivations behind human behavior. This is the reason I tell you why most people wake up in the morning, why they cry. Why do you rejoice when you buy a metal? You call it a car. What gives you joy? It's not the metal. No. The metal does something to you that checks this list, one of the 6 I just listed. Why do you hold a piece of paper? You call it a certificate, and you dance around and feel very fulfilled. Why do you hold another piece of paper? You call it naira or dollar or pound, and you look so motivated and secured in the presence of that paper, or perhaps a card. Hallelujah. Why do you construct sand? You call it a house, and you live so comfortably and secured in it. All of these things are not the things that really give us fulfillment. They feed back into one or more of these lists. The need for security, the need for newness or variety, the need for significance, the need for love and acceptance, the need for growth, and the need for impact and contribution. When you understand this, it is one of the keys to taming excessism in your life, because then you will know that when you find a desire for more of physical things, you can now look deeper. Do I really need those things? Or is there another way I can derive satisfaction without having to acquire and acquire and acquire? There are 2 expressions in the Bible that have gotten me concerned. Number 1 is the poor wise man. That statement is not supposed to be in use because poverty and wisdom don't add up. The poor wise man. And then another example is the rich fool. You cannot call a man rich and yet call him fool, because wealth, sustainable wealth, is a product of wisdom. And yet in this Bible there is the poor wise man, and then there is the rich fool. And one was poor and the other was foolish, not necessarily because of what they did, but the motivation behind the things that they did. For instance, the rich fool thought that his rest would be in acquiring and building barns, and he said, my soul find rest in it. And that was what made him a fool. Is someone learning already? Praise the name of the Lord. So to the degree to which you feel you are great is the degree to which you check all this list: security, financial security and otherwise, newness, variety. You're always making the headlines. We call you a celebrity. And then the degree to which you are significant, the degree to which you are loved and accepted, the degree to which you think you are growing, or you are growing actually, and the degree to which you are able to make impact and contribution. This is very powerful. My life changed when I learned this, because I found out that there's one word for every one of these things I listed. It's actually leading to one point. It's called peace. That's it. You add significance plus variety plus security plus love and acceptance plus growth plus impact and contribution. From a psychological term, you just spelled one word. It's called peace. That's it.